Hello and welcome to True Guidance Tarot. I'm Adriana Teodoro-Dier. I'm a spiritual medium and intuitive reader. I have a message for the Leo energy today. And to let you know how this works, I've asked my guides in spirit to bring a message through the cards that will be deeply positive and helpful for you as you are navigating your week. My guides are going to continue to send information and to talk to me as we're doing this reading, so it's also going to kind of unfold with us together. So if you are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, and I would strongly urge you to consider subscribing to this channel so you can benefit from the high vibration information from the other side every week. And if you are returning to this channel, I so appreciate you being here. I love doing these readings, and let's go ahead and get started. Now, plain and simple, the universe is asking you to answer your higher calling this week. They're giving you this Queen of Swords, and she is cloaked in the colors of those beautiful higher chakras, the purple and the indigo. So she is really listening to her own inner counsel. And I mean, look at her expression. She's just lovely. I love her. She will not be swayed by anyone's opinions. She's not swayed by her own emotions. She's not pulled off by her own emotions. She's just like, this is what I have to do. This is right. This is the way it's going to be. And you are inspired and invited to welcome some of that into your life. Now, she's looking at you. This is you on this side. This is your response, the Eight of Swords. Now, she's got a clear vision, and this one is kind of stuck. So there's like the little annoyances, things kind of feeling like you're trapped and that you can't really get out of a situation, or you don't have a lot of options, a lot of choices. A lot of that is just your perspective. This card is actually quite hilarious. She can walk out of these swords anytime. And I also get the feeling that these bonds aren't, she's bound hands and her eyes. She's not really struggling with them, There's a feeling that she's actually kind of doing it to herself. And she's got the colors. She's wearing the same colors as this one. But for some reason, she's got herself tied in knots. And I think this is part of the message to you, is that there aren't a whole lot of different ways forward for you. There is one. There is absolutely one, the one that is in line with your guts, the one that is in line with your soul, the one that feels right to you. There's only one, but you're kind of thinking there's more than one, and it has you tied up, kind of tongue-tied is what I'm getting. So maybe it's also difficult to speak about this right now. I'm not sure why they put that word tongue-tied in my head. So they just said keep going. So we're going to keep going. So let's look at what is really going on, or some more of this story. We've got the Five of Cups, the Prince of Swords, Knight of Swords, riding out of that, and look at him. He's on a mission into the Two of Swords. Okay? So this is probably... Okay, let me just ask for a second. So I don't give you probably, I give you specifics. Okay, yes. What is causing some of this consternation of the Eight of Swords is relationships. Some past relationships that you're not quite sure how to let go of, or how to re-navigate. This higher self is asking you to do something completely different, to take the high road and to be that more magnificent being who is uncompromising. She's not going to waver for anyone. But there's part of you that's not quite sure how to do that in some of your relationships, because there's been a pattern of having to compromise yourself, or having to go with the flow, even though it goes against your own flow, to go with the flow that actually doesn't help you so much. So you're this poor salmon, and this little otter is trying to catch you. So these relationships kind of have you not sure what to do. And the Prince of Swords is trying to help you. So again, this Queen of Swords energy is now being activated through the Prince. And I feel like you're going to get a strong idea. You're going to get like a strong inspiration that's going to have you moving away from this. So you're kind of like, yeah, I didn't like that feeling of losing myself or being forgotten. It's kind of like you're put last in those relationships. I didn't like that idea of being forgotten and put last and always being put behind the needs of everyone else. I don't like that. I'm rushing out. He rushes out and he's rushing forward, and he knows just like she's got one way, he's also got one way. So part of the story is, you know, that you've got one way away from that relationship pattern. This is not about leaving relationships specifically, but it's leaving old relationship patterns behind. Negative ones where there's codependence or compromising or, they're saying to me feeling bereft. So feeling like you've lost a part of yourself, you've given away part of yourself, or you get put last. That's the stuff you just desperately want to move away from, and your thoughts are trying to get you there. Now he's running headlong for the Two of Swords, and I'm really struck by the power in these cards. So I feel like if you have been struggling with this relationship, this past relationship, you are really going to be pushing and making some headway against it. Sometimes things keep coming up and coming up and coming up, but you are really pushing forward this time. And we get to the Two of Swords, which is very similar to this Eight of Swords. Okay? But this Two of Swords is a stronger energy. They're both blindfolded. They've both got swords surrounding them. They're not sure what to do. But this one was lighter. This is like self-inflicted. But here is like the heart of the problem. That this is like the meat and potatoes of the program right here. Problem right here. The Two of Swords is not sure what to do. And again, two, relationships, right? Me and the other, self and other. What do I do in this case? You know, I can follow the other down this path and it gets very dark back there. Or I could follow myself. I could do what's right for me first. But there's a pull, there's a tension between the two, and you're not sure which way to go. And so again, what can you do when you're blindfolded? What can you see when you're blindfolded? Nothing, right? Literally the world is shut out. The external world is shut out, and you're left with your feeling. Sometimes, you know, I'm a musician as well. I'm a pianist. And sometimes when I'm in a concert and I really want to hear, I close my eyes, because the eyes make, I'm looking at stuff and my head is kind of processing it. But when I shut it off, somehow my hearing gets more acute and I can hear stuff more deeply and more, just more layers in what I'm listening to than when I've got my eyes open. It's almost like there's not enough energy for my eyes and my ears to be working at the same time. So you're being asked to go within, to shut out the considerations, the demands of the outside world, and just look at what's right for you. Get into this Queen of Swords energy that says there's only one way forward, and that way is the way of my highest good. Highest good will never come at the expense of someone else. Sometimes we're afraid to put ourselves forward because we're afraid it's going to come at the expense of someone else. But if it's truly aligned with your heart and with your soul and with what your guides are saying, it will never come at the expense of the other person. Okay? So there is definitely a difference between just doing what the ego wants and following the call of the higher self. There is a big energetic difference. And how can you tell the difference? So the one that is ego driven will have an emotional response attached to it. You know, I need to do this because it feels right for me. I need to do this because I'll feel better, or I feel awful right now and this is what I need to make me feel better. There's a selfish, everything is through me. Now, when it comes through your higher self, there is a backing up. It's almost like the ego is suspended for a second and the vision kind of goes very broad, and you see, okay, this is the right thing for me to do for me. And there's no emotion attached to it. It's just complete peace. So that's the best guideline I can give you through this video. Of course, I would be happy to work with you and to help you really discern for yourself. But without talking to each individual one of you watching this, I can't give you more specific advice than that. So I think that's where we're going to leave the reading. But let me just emphasize that it's about you choosing that path that's aligned with your highest good, your highest self, this Queen of Swords energy. Okay, and it means independent, it means not worrying about what happens to the other person, but again, understand that as long as it's coming from the right place, it is for everyone's benefit. So, as I mentioned, I do work with people one-on-one. I have a website, trueguidancetarot.com, where you can learn more about my one-on-one readings through Zoom. I also have an awesome Phoenix Path program, which is extended help for those that are really interested in going deep and really living out their highest purpose and their best self. So you can check those out again, trueguidancetarot.com, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.